Alright guys, GM Lake coming back with another horror hot take, this time about how and why Freddy vs. Jason is not only the best Freddy movie, but also the best Jason movie. So this movie it's not a fan favorite, I guess. The movie definitely has its fans. A lot of people seem to like it. It's definitely not a hated movie by any stretch of the imagination, but obviously most people attribute the best entries of the Nightmare on Elm Street movies to the first and the third for Friday the 13th. Most people attribute the fourth and the sixth for the best movies in the franchise, but I really feel like both of these series reach their apex when they meet. Now, first of all, what I really think it comes down to is contrast. These characters both contrast each other really well. This is something I touched on in my video about why Art the Clown should cross over with Leatherface. Basically what you get with Freddy is he's a very sadistic, clinical killer. He enjoys it. He has a personality. He's a fast talker. He quips. He talks a lot. And then you get Jason, who is a very tragic character, doesn't speak, very silent, and the only reason that he really kills is because he's territorial. He doesn't seem to take pleasure in what he does, even though it's very, very vicious and bizarre. But overall, that's not the purpose of why he does it, so they just come across as opposites in their own ways. And that's what makes them so entertaining when they're sharing the screen together. It would be kind of difficult if you had two characters that had either too big of personalities or two characters who had little to no personality like Jason does. Because if you had the characters that have the personality, they'd be trying to battle it out for screen time and try to take away the spotlight and the attention. And obviously Freddy is going to have the bigger presence. He really does kind of overshadow Jason in this movie. But the way that they present Jason is just such a human version of him that we've never really seen before. And it's almost like Jason is kind of the victim in Freddy's scheme. Even down to the elemental iconography, like Freddy is represented by fire, Jason's represented by water, and likewise their origins created them that way, which also just adds another pretty awesome layer to the movie. And it's because of stuff like that that they're able to fill each other out in ways that you couldn't really see before, because you never had any kind of contrast to Freddy in this way. You never really had any contrast to Jason in this way. Maybe the closest that they got was in part 7 with the Carrie ripoff, but even then, she was pretty much just a final girl fighting to get Jason away. This is them fully battling it out. And Jason's very much at the mercy of Freddy when he's in the dream world, but in the real world, obviously the tables turn. So you get to see them both in their elements, at their best, in their prime. So you get so many inventive sequences where you get to see their abilities and how they differ, how they're alike, what their strengths are, what their weaknesses are. It just highlights pretty much every unique attribute about both characters in one 90-minute movie. And maybe like some of the characters that aren't Freddy or Jason aren't the most compelling, but the thing though is they totally take a back seat in this movie. Freddy is the star and Jason acts as a co-lead. You get those signature nightmare sequences from Freddy, you get those signature brutal kills from Jason, which just cannot be understated as just being awesome. You get action scenes that you never saw before because, you know, most of what they do involves them having to chase a helpless victim. But in this scenario, they really get to match up against each other and you get a full-on brawl between the two with, again, innovative sequences, exciting sequences. And they really test each other out. They're just perfect rivals for each other, and they almost feel like they were made to be arch rivals. They Batman and Joker each other. They Superman and Lex Luthor each other. And this all just culminates to just be an awesome crossover movie, the best Freddy movie, the best Jason movie, and one of my favorite movies of all time because, let's face it, was anything cooler in the time than seeing Freddy and Jason share the screen for the first time and brawl? Awesome. I was pretty young when this movie came out, but I remember how much of an event it was. I remember seeing the newspaper clippings of just seeing them in the same frame was just mind-blowing to me. Am I right? Am I wrong? I want to hear about it in the comments. You guys got to let me know. Until then, have a good one.